Hello, hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for another week of the Customer Success Skills Exchange. Today, we're going to be focused on the GitLab 13.3 release technical showcase with Dan and his team. So Cesar will be talking about edit feature flag user lists, ECS task definition from the local JSON. And Fern will be talking about coverage guided fuzz testing, on-demand DAST scans, SAST security and analyzers, guided SAST configuration. Itzik will be talking about creating a matrix of jobs using a simple syntax. DAG Visualization. William will be talking about GitLab Flow extension for Visual Studio Core. And Ty will take us home with multiple value streams. So I will turn it over to Dan for any other things to tee us up.
Actually, this one's to Itzik. You're running the show. Go for it.
Yeah, thank you, Dan, and good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So I will just, before when the team starts, we decided to take advantage of this enablement, and after this recording, we will split it to individual videos, standalone videos for each demo, and then we will share it to end users, to everyone, to the world, actually. So you will notice that before each demo, we will we will introduce ourselves again and give some background. Don't look us as weird, because we're going to, although it's a long session, it's going to be at the end also standalone demos. So, and that's it. And regarding the slide deck before, so Dan just shared the deck with all of the content in the customer success channel. So the format will be very similar to the group conversation. So the team will very quickly walk through the main points of the slide, but not too much time spent on the slide. So if you have, and we want to make it as more efficient. So if you have any questions, focus on questions, and we will allow, will allow us more time for questions and answers. And after we complete for each slide, we will move on to the demo. And again, I believe we will have more time now, this time, for questions, less content like we did last time. So you will have time to read, digest the things, ask questions, see the demos. So with that, I turn over to Cesar.
Hello, everybody. I need to share my screen, don't I, first? There we go. Hopefully you can see my screen there. So I want to go to full screen. Very good. Hello, my name is Cesar Saavedra. I'm a technical marketing manager here at GitLab. And in this short video, I'm going to be covering a new feature introduced in GitLab 13.3 called Edit Feature Flag Users List from the UI. So before 13.3, you could perform, you could not create a list. This is brand new in 13.3. Now with this new feature, you can actually create and maintain lists of users that you can use in your feature flag strategies. You can add users, you can remove users, and manage those lists separate from the actual strategy. So why does it matter for customers and prospects? They can now segment users. You can think of segments of users like platinum, gold, silver. And you can have user lists for each of those. And you can target features to those specific different segments. So it can help you in A/B testing. Another thing that it can help you with, it can lower the risk and increase customer satisfaction, because you can actually, through this targeting the feature to specific segment allows you to test out that specific feature in production before you roll it out to everybody else. And for us, for GitLab, it enriches our advanced deployment techniques arsenal. It also enriches our continuous deployment story. And you know, this feature differentiates us from the rest. Not very many of our competitors actually have this this capability. So let's jump into the demo. Just in case, I've also I have a link to a sample project that I'm about to show you. You can go and look at the code there. There's also a recording that goes more in depth into this feature, and you know, there's also an interesting issue to follow for you to follow as far as feature flag and how it is going to be evolving. All right, so this is a feature flag demo. That's the other demo. There we go. All right, so you know, to access feature flags, you go to operations and feature flags, and you would see all your feature flags here. But now you have this other menu called lists. In here, I've created 2 lists, and for the sake of time, I already pre-created one. But the way to create a list and segment your users is you would say new list, and you just give it a name. You know, it could be FF list 3, for example. And then once that's created, you would add users, right? In that case, I don't know, Cesar at GitLab.com, for example, and you can separate them with a comma. Itzik GitLab.com, and then you just say add. And then you have your new list, okay? So once you create the list, here it is, the new one, FF list 3. How do you use this list? So when you come to feature flags, and as you create a feature flag, you have an opportunity. Let me just start one and then I'll cancel out of it. But let's say you want to create a new one, 3. And here in the strategies, let's say you want to, for production, you want to select, these are the options. You can select, for example, to roll out this feature to a specific percentage of users in production. You can select specific user IDs, but now this new option allows you to select a list that you have predefined, a segmentation. So in here you can select the list, the user list name that we already defined before. So that's basically how you use it. I'm gonna cancel out of that. And one thing you also need to do is, if you want the feature flag to be active, you have to turn it on. Right now, these 2 feature flags here are off. And just to show you that, I'm going to run a script with a few emails or usernames. Actually, I'm going to run it with 4 usernames. And this sample program, what it does, it registers a username, and then it'll attempt to execute the feature that is being that has a flag. And then if the user is defining the list, it will allow the user to use a new feature. If not, it'll just use the you know, the old way of doing things without the new feature. So right now the feature flag is off. So everyone is just going to say, is going to get hello world. Notice that the first one is for QA environment. And let me make this window bigger. The first one is for the QA environment, and everybody got the old behavior, which is hello world. I have 4 users: Pluto, Magic, Mickey, and Hulk. And in staging, my second strategy, again, the flag is off, right? So everyone's getting the same behavior. Nobody's getting the new feature. And the strategies are here. So let's look at that one. I have 3 strategies, one for QA, one for staging, and one for production. And here for QA, I'm going to use my user list, which has Pluto and Magic, meaning that Pluto and Magic will be the only ones getting that feature. In staging, I will have all users will get the new feature or the feature. And in production, I only want 80% of the users to get the feature, and 80% of 4 is 3. So only 3 users will get the feature. So let's turn this on. And then let's run this script again. And let's see, in QA, Okay, in QA, no one's getting the new feature. In staging, everyone is getting the new feature. And in production, 80% is getting the new feature flag, and 80% of 4 is 3. So three usernames got the new feature, were able to see the new feature, and one of them was not. So that's how you use the user lists within a feature flag that has been enabled. Here are some resources, which I already mentioned, and I gave you in a slide here the high-level steps on how to how to create a user list and how to maintain it. And that was the conclusion of this demo. Thank you very much. Very good. So my name is Cesar Saavedra. I'm a technical manager, marketing manager with GitLab. And in this short demo, I'm going to be covering ECS task definition from local JSON feature, which was introduced in GitLab 13.3. So previously, before this new capability was introduced, we were able to deploy to ECS using push to ECS and from GitLab, the deploy template, and that was it. With this release, you are actually able to define and have the actual task definition file on your GitLab repository and use it to push your project to an ECS cluster. Okay. So why does it matter? As a customer, it allows you to basically manage and maintain your task definition via our version control and collaboration capabilities within GitLab. It also permits stakeholders to collaborate on the configuration, the creation, and the development of the task definition file. And obviously streamlines your deployment to ECS, to an ECS cluster. It allows you to roll back to a previous version of the task definition file. And it also helps you with your organizational audit and compliance regulations for your ECS container definitions. So the task definition file, it actually defines the way your container is going to look like. And if your organization has specific requirements, then they need to be captured within your task definition. I mean, requirements for containers, right? And regulations for that. What does it matter for us, GitLab? Well, it enriches our Amazon deployment story. It also helps us engage with shops that are using AWS ECS for containers, not necessarily Kubernetes shops. And it also, it gives you an option and an opportunity to establish a beachhead at an ECS shop and then expand from there. Again, I've prepared a recorded demo. Here's the link and also a sample project for you to look at later, and some things to follow. All right, so let's go to the demo. Now, this demo is a bit more involved, and I only have 10 minutes. So instead of going through the entire process, I'm just going to go over the things that you need to do in order to be able to use this new capability. So to connect to an ECS cluster, well, first of all, you need to have an ECS cluster, right? So I have an ECS cluster here on Amazon, and it's running right now 3 services, and each service instance uses or is defined by a task definition file. Okay, so before, you had to define your task definition files on AWS side, and that was it. And then you can just deploy to them from GitLab. With this new capability, you can actually define and maintain and have the task definition file on the GitLab side, on the GitLab project. Now, in order to use it, obviously you have to have one. So let's see if I have it here. Yeah, so if we go to the project itself, I've created a directory called CI, and I've stored the task definition here. So this is a JSON file that I put together that basically defines the way my container is going to look like when it runs on ECS. Okay. Now, you may ask yourselves, you know, how do I create this task definition file? You can find some documentation on AWS of a template that you can start with. But the way I do it usually, because I'm lazy, I usually just go through the wizard. There's a wizard. There's a wizard here on the AWS console. You say task definition, and then you say create new. In my case, I created a Fargate one. And then once you start, you know, you follow the entire wizard. It's like three screens. You can click on configure via JSON, and then you can copy and paste that JSON output to your GitLab project. You have to make some slight changes. I actually cover those in detail in the video link that I gave you earlier. So in order to use the task definition file, you have to have it defined and created on your GitLab project, like you see here on the screen. The second thing is you need to go to your environment variables for your project, and you need to have this new variable called CI AWS ECS task definition file, and I'm targeting that to the environment called review wildcard. And in here, you put the location of the file within your project. And then when the ECS deploy takes place within your pipeline, it'll know to get it from here and apply it to that creation of the service over at the ECS cluster. Now, another option you have here is you can actually paste the content of the JSON here in this value field, but you have to change this to say file. Okay, so it's either or. Okay, so you can have the location of the file here, and then you set this to variable, or you can actually paste the content of the JSON here and change this to file. Okay, and then obviously you need to have all these other variables to be able to connect to AWS and connect to the ECS cluster. Again, I cover this in detail in the video that I shared with you in the presentation. And then when you run the pipeline, this runs with Auto DevOps. So this is a very simple pipeline. This is what it looks like. It just includes this template, which is ECS GitLab, which I believe is right here, which just have 5 stages, and it includes another template called here, ECS GitLab, which actually does the work, review Fargate, and which you will see in a minute. And it basically, this is what it does. It's doing an ECS update task definition and pushing that service and instantiating that service on the ECS cluster. Last thing I wanted to show you was the actual pipeline. This pipeline takes many minutes. Well, I shouldn't say many, but a few minutes. And for the sake of time, I'm going to skip this. But it builds the Java sample program that I have here, and then it pushes it to the ECS cluster on AWS by doing that command. And then the way I knew that it was running is because I had changed the background color to brown, and then when I check the live environment, well, this is supposed to look like brown, but it looks kind of like red to me. But I knew that it had been deployed successfully. So here, last thing I wanted to show you was just high-level steps to follow to use this feature, and that concludes this demo. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Cesar. So we're running a little bit short on time here. I think, Fern, could you cover one of your favorite of the 4 that you've got? And then Itzik, if we have time, we'll have you do one of yours.
Yeah.
Make some adjustments for next time.
can actually quickly run through all of them, but I'll be pretty quick and give the main details and the main value streams of each one, if that's okay.
Keep it tighter than that. We've got like 10 minutes left in this meeting, believe it or not. So, or 20 minutes almost.
All right. Yeah, I'll do it quick. All right, so let me start. So my name is Fernando, Technical Marketing Manager here at GitLab, and I'm going to go over a few of the security features. So number one, fuzz testing. If you haven't seen fuzz testing before, it's where we send a bunch of unexpected or random data to an application to try to cause it to fail, to panic, or to find some type of underlying issue. So the way that this values our customers is that it can find bugs and vulnerabilities that other QA processes can't find, and from there it can include some different security issues. And just to show you the different languages we have, so it's available in right now 5 different languages, and they're working on more. And the way that this works is the developer's actually able to add tests to different parts of the application before the application is actually completely built, and they can go ahead and test it while developing the application, trying to find issues. So you can see, here's just an example. So the way that this is done is the coverage fuzzing job is included, and the fuzzing target is included. And what the fuzzing target does is it sets up the fuzzer. So each language will use a different fuzzer, or actually each application will use a different fuzzer defined by the user. And there'll be a different package that's used for each language. So in this case, the package is going to be Go Fuzz. And then Go Fuzz will be running the fuzz testing. And let me show you just an example of what the fuzzer looks like. So the fuzzer calls this parse complex function, and it'll pass in random data to it, which will be random byte array. And then it knows that it's the fuzzer because of this value that's added to it. And then now you can see that when we look at the actual function that's being fuzzed, right here, if len of data equals 6, it actually populates it with 7, an array of length 7. So it'll go ahead and cause a panic. So by sending random data in, you will be able to determine that, it'll hit this case right here, and it'll provide a panic. And then from there, we'll understand that if this were to happen, this is an error within our application and it were to panic. So I've provided more resources on fuzzing. Sam Kerr did a great job with all these different fuzzing videos, and there's more to come. So there'll be a fuzzing 101 playlist, which will show you all the different ways of fuzzing and how to configure everything and how to set that up. Another feature is the on-demand DAST. And what on-demand DAST does is it goes ahead and allows you to perform DAST on any URL within your application that you desire. So instead of DAST having to be run within a pipeline, now it can be run on demand whenever you need it. So if you need to, test how secure a system is, or you're working on a specific path of an application that you want to verify, you can go ahead and run DAST on that without having to push code to a feature branch and have a pipeline run. So it makes it easier to configure and get started with, and it just enables developers to do more tests on the running application. And that's just done. And I'll just show you where it's done. So you create a new site profile, you save the site profile, and then you can go ahead and run DAST on this. So it'll be on-demand scans, and you'll create a new DAST scan, and then you will pick the profile, and then you just run the scan, and it'll go ahead and run DAST on the URL that you targeted. And this could be an IP, this could be this could be pretty much anything that you set it to, usually related to your application or application path. And in this case, this URL is active and live, and it has if you see here, it has a sitemap, which it'll go to the sitemap and also check the other paths. So that's the way of setting up DAST and doing it on demand. And then last security feature in this release will be SAST for all and a guided SAST configuration. So SAST for all means that all the open source scanners that perform SAST for the different languages are being moved to the base GitLab offering. And from there, that'll showcase this to our customers. Our customers will see the value of our security tools. And the driver towards Ultimate is that our own in-house SAST analyzers will be in Ultimate. And there's been lots of research done on us finding more real positives over other security tools. And then there's the guided SAST configuration, which allows us to, if we don't have SAST running on our application, we can go ahead and just create SAST and start SAST. So the way that this works is you just go into security and compliance, you go to configuration, and here you can pick the image that you want to run for the SAST analyzer. You can pick the paths to exclude, the image tag, and there will be different images that you can find through the documentation. And it'll tell you what stage you want SAST to run and how many directories you want to go down in. So this is just for someone who's never used DAST before or doesn't know really how to configure it. They can find these configuration options, and then it'll add it to the GitLab CI YAML and configure SAST for you. So, and with that, thanks. Those have been the new security features in GitLab 13.3. So yeah, taking it back to Dan, or Itzik.
Hello, can you see my screen, my presentation?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, my name is Itzik Gan-Baruch, Technical Marketing Manager, and today I will demo matrix build. So this is the slide. Basically, I will go very quickly on the slides. Matrix build allows you to run several multiple jobs in parallel. So I think the graph here illustrates what it used for. And in GitLab 13.3, we released a new matrix keyword that makes the work to implement a matrix build. It makes very simple. If you remember in the last session, I showed you how I needed to use a JSON script with logic to create a long YAML with many jobs. Now I don't need one keyword matrix do the job for me. And why it matters, it makes for more efficient work. And you can easy to maintain the YAML. If you want to add and remove jobs to the matrix, it's very easy just to add more dimensions or environments or targets to the matrix. It's very easy, and then it will create for you at runtime jobs for what you add. And I will not cover everything because of the time, so you can feel free to read it later. And there is link to documentation and the link to example projects that I will just show you now. So let's jump to the project. Okay, so right. So this is the YAML file, and I have here one job. This is job name, and I added these two keywords parallel. That it's not new, but the matrix is new. And I added here the 3 dimensions, different architectures, targets, and versions. And when I will run the pipeline, what it will do, it will create for me 4 double 2 double 3. It will create for me 24 jobs. So let's see how it works. So I will run the pipeline and we select the correct branch. And if you can see here, I have 24 jobs, and I can go here. And if I want to know on the name job name, I can see the name and the parameters. And this is how I can distinguish between the different jobs. So as you've seen, I have now 24 jobs running in parallel with different for different version of my application, testing, building it for different targets. And this is the demo, and I didn't need to do too many efforts, as you see, to make all of that, just line of code or 2 lines of code in my YAML file. And with that, I see that I have more 5 minutes, so I will go quickly. Unless you have any questions, I will go quickly to the next demo. Okay, so I will go back to slides.
John, do you want to verbalize your question in the effort in the spirit of efficiency?
Yeah, I was just curious in how you define, when you define matrix, like you had all those like CPU types and all that. How do you define that in the settings? Like for someone like one of our, like a graphics card designer, they might have to test their software across multiple graphics cards, so they'll have different actual like bare metal machines, but they want to do a matrix build. How, or is the architecture like a tag for a runner? I'm not sure I understand how that works.
So here in GitLab, what I do is just creating, I'm setting only the YAML file.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, in the script, if I have ARM or I have a debug target or release target, I will, in the script, I will provide different parameters that, for example, will provision for me the right infrastructure or will build for me the right code. But only the configuration to generate those jobs is done here. I hope this answers your question, or
no,
I didn't
like let's
understand.
say I have a bare metal machine that's set up for ARM. I have another bare metal machine that's x86 and so on. So I have multiple machines, each with a runner on it, but I want to do a matrix build. How does that ARM machine know to pick up the ARM architecture job?
Oh.
Is that through tags, or is that a different use case than what you're explaining here?
Oh, I believe, no, I did, yeah. So I would think about, usually you put tag to pick up a specific machine.
Mm-hmm.
And here I don't know, and if we can specify a tag, and maybe it's a good suggestion for improvement, but let's take it offline. It's really good, interesting question. How we can specify a specific machine. So, but
Okay.
I don't have a quick answer for that, so let's take it offline.
Fair enough, thank you.
Yeah, I have 3 minutes to allow William also to make his demo. So quickly, I will go to the other thing I was planning to do. Hi, my name is Itzik Gan-Baruch, Technical Marketing Manager, and today I will demo DAG Visualization. So DAG stands for Directed Acyclic Graph, and actually it breaks the order between jobs. So it make the pipeline more efficient, and it put some dependency between jobs. So a specific job will not need to wait to all jobs in previous stage to complete only related jobs that completes, and then it will be able to start. So this is a DAG, very short, and what has been released as official product in 13.3 is the DAG visualization, which is this graph that shows you the relationships between the dependent jobs. It will not show you not related jobs. So if you have jobs that you didn't define as a dependent job, you will not see it in that graph. So I will quickly move, and here I will skip this. You can read it later. So just let me quickly move to the demo. I have 1 minute. Okay, so this is the YAML, and I have here, for example, iOS job. We build iOS, and it is in the build stage. And here you can see dependent jobs. We have in the test stage, we have Safari iOS and Chrome iOS, and all of those dependent jobs as this needs tag means that they depend only on the iOS build, and they don't depend, for example, on the Android build. So, and let me show you how it looks, the pipeline in this case. So I will run here the pipeline. So for the DAG visualization, we have a new tab here, and this shows me the dependencies that I just defined in the YAML. So the deploy iOS depend on 3 jobs, which is 3 of them, but the Chrome iOS depend only on the iOS build. The iOS test depend on the iOS, and the Safari iOS also depend on the iOS. And the monitor in production depends in these 3 jobs. So let's go back to the pipeline, and we see that we have 4 jobs in the build, but once the iOS will be completed, you will see the test job will start. I will give it another 30 minutes, and then we'll give, okay, as you see that the iOS job completed, which allowed the test jobs that depend on it to start, but still Mac and Windows jobs running. This makes the pipeline more efficient, means that we will be able to complete the overall pipeline execution time will be shorter because we're running in parallel. We don't need this to start only when these long jobs that can be long jobs. It doesn't need to wait. It can start in parallel. So this is it. Make it more. Always we add the features that make the work more efficient and the pipeline more efficient. So with that, turn over to William.
Hello, everyone. So my name is William, and I will test today one theory I read the other day that is called the 3-30-3. 3 minutes, 30 minutes, 3 hours. I'm going to explain you in 3 minutes what I wanted to explain. Let's imagine we are all in an elevator. So I will talk about GitLab workflow extension for Visual Studio Code. So why is this important? So let's jump to this part. So if you all know that GitLab is a single application for DevOps, but most of the work happened in GitLab, and the developers, they live in their local editors. So as a single DevOps application, it offers a lot of capabilities, but the developers as a main audience, they do most of their work in local editors. So this visual code extension is one of the first steps to bring many of the capabilities from GitLab to the local editor where the developers work. So if you are ever with customers and you find an objection like, yes, it's very cool, all the capabilities you offer, but I use Visual Studio Code or I use a local editor. How can I take advantage of this? So this is the answer. This is the answer. This is one of the first steps that is aligned with the strategy of GitLab, in which we want to bring capabilities from GitLab to the local editor. So just as a quick example, I'm showing here that this is how it looks. Once you install the extension, you will have this widget here from GitLab Workflow, where once you integrate with an API token, you can have access to the issues that have been assigned to you, merge requests, and you can even see or trigger the pipelines. So to learn more, you just have to do Command-Shift this, and when you write GitLab, you will see all of the possible commands that you can execute from here, from this local editor, and they will impact GitLab. So this is 3 minutes explanation. In the video that I have shared with you, I have different examples of what can I do using Visual Studio Code and GitLab leveraging this extension. So thank you. I pass it to Ty.
Go. Hey, I'm Ty Davis, and I am going to be talking about multiple value streams today that came out in 13.3. With the value streams that we have inside of GitLab right now, they are currently customizable. You can customize different stages that pertain specifically to your team and that you believe really create the value that is your value stream for your specific team. Now, previously, there was only one value stream that was allowed to be created per project, per group. And what this new feature does is it allows you to create multiple value streams that maybe are specific to a project management team, that are specific to an engineering team, or specific to a manager, or not a manager, but a director or VP that wants an oversight on the complete end-to-end idea to production. It's pretty straightforward in what you can do with these value stream creation. You just create different multiple teams or existing names for those value streams, and you can toggle back and forth between them and customize those accordingly to what you see fit for your team. I have a doc and an epic and a video coming soon, but it is very straightforward. But this is something that for the manage a plan area is a step in the direction of enhancing our value stream capabilities as we look to continue to build that out. That is all for me. Thank you. Back to Itzik.
Okay, all right. Thank you for everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I was just asking. We have a little bit of time if there's any Q&A that needs to be answered.
Yeah.
Don, I think you had a question about A/B pricing test.
Yeah, with the feature flag functionality, do we know if that feature flag functionality was used with our A/B testing on our pricing on our website? Just curious more than anything.
Actually, I don't know that, but I can take that away and find out for you.
I just think that'd be a really cool use case for it, is all.
Yeah, definitely. I'll find out for you.
I believe that it was. I think I saw some traffic in a discussion channel implying that it was, but yeah, we don't know for sure. So it could.
Yeah, I thought it was as well, but I wasn't sure.
Be good to be able to cite that, right? So.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
And regarding the question about the matrix build, and it's a nice question, and I will send the answer in the customer success channel just for you. That.
Yeah, this might be a lead into that or help with that a little bit. So when you define the parameters of the matrix, each of those values gets passed into the job that gets run, right? So if you have like a 2x2 matrix, you have 4 jobs running and the parameters get cycled through. So what you send in as parameters are available as variables, and you use those and set your architecture to then specify the tag that you're going to look for architecturally on your runner. So that's one way you could do it. I don't know if there's a more efficient way to do that.
Yeah.
Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you all so much to the technical marketing team, all the presenters, Dan for helping me coordinate this bad boy. So thank you all for questions, the discussion. We will see you all next week.